Everybody ready to come along on another one? Okay then, let's get off of this road and get onto one considerably more peaceful. The Harford Turnpike. Again. I've shown this road before, so maybe I'll wait till I get to some place that's a bit more interesting than this. Of course, that assumes there is such a place. Now bypassing the town of Bel Air on the US 1 bypass. Don't know if that's any more interesting than where I was. We might be in Bel Air, but no Fresh Prince around here, believe me. And now we're heading north on Route 543, looking for greener pastures, one might say. Of course, that can be interpreted different ways, so I better watch what I say. Someplace here, the Monpau Railroad once crossed. I believe up here someplace. Because at this point it's up there on the ledge. Well, I guess it already crossed, oh well. We'll go this way, have a look at more. Well, got pulled up in 1958. Kind of tough to discern these days. But up here are the remnants of the Pilesville Trestle. Right there. And up around the bend, we're in Pilesville proper. If I recall when that store still ran, I have photos of it somewhere stashed away. Remodeled since, looking like a plain old home now. But there was a store at one time. And now passing through Whiteford. And now passing through Cardiff. But up here we cross into Pennsylvania, where the pavement changes there. Now north of the border and entering Delta. A lot of old buildings and structures here, most of which are being kept up. Now on the outskirts and passing the site of a former slate quarry. There are buildings there, but they were raised about 15 years back, and the site reclaimed by nature. And to the right, over the hill, there'd have been a huge quarry, going down about a couple 100 feet, just past some of the structure for it. But the quarries are filled with water, looking rather green, like antifreeze. Hoping that bridge once crossed the Monpau's Peach Bottom branch for deliveries to the power plant site, and they were constructing it. And we'll take this back road because it crosses the track at one point. I believe here are some places where the branch line crossed. Up there on top of that little grade there. Let's have a look. Yep, would have come out of there and cut across and gone that way where the fence is now, on its way to the power plant. But now the right-of-way is closed off. I believe they put that in around 1965 or 66 when they constructed the first section of Peach Bottom Nuclear Power Plant, which we'll soon see part of. We'll soon see part of the later sections. The first section in the 60s has been long decommissioned, but it's still there. The reactor is still there. Little stop sign back at you. And now arriving at the site of the power plant. Down there somewhere. And we're down by the Susquehanna River again. And here it is off in the distance. There's the later units, built I believe in the 70s. The original one in the 60s is far to the far side, out of view from this point. But it's still there, that first reactor, Unit 1, but long decommissioned. But there is the reason I can't get any closer. And now looking across the Susquehanna to the settlement known as Peach Bottom. Across there is Lancaster County, a whole different county from this one. This is York County we're in now. There was a Peach Bottom on this side of the river too, but thanks to Columbia Dam, it's now underwater. But the one in Lancaster County is still above water, and there it is. Tough to get at that distance. Here, I'll show you how far away that is. There you go. And across the way you see a culvert for the Columbian Port Deposit Line, which I've shown you before and talked about before. But there it is. Be great to get a Norfolk Southern train crossing that right now, wouldn't it? Even from this angle. Again, across the river. But even here by the power plant, great place for a family outing, right by the nukes. Yep, come here, get nuked. Alright. You'll glow in the dark when you leave here. Just thought of a perfect place for that sign. Over my computer. Or on the bathroom door. One of the two. And now we're leaving the nukes behind and going on to other things. In fact, that canal I mentioned in other videos, the Susquehanna and Tidewater Canal, also passed where the power plant is now. But of course, long obliterated at that point. There are some broken pieces of that canal that still exists. As I showed you in Haverty Grace. Other spots as well. And up here, a crossroads of sorts. Middle of nowhere. Wonder where we are. I've heard of that highway number. But let's see. Maybe I'll try something different. Or maybe I won't. I'll stick with familiarity. That's the word I'm looking for. Now in the woods, where it got a bit darker. I think it'll get darker before it gets lighter. And again, my lady's ancestors. I'll try to get around. Yep. Her ancestors all over the place. And now arriving at PA 74, which I'll use for a bit. At least as far as this road anyway. This is the road where I was coming the other way one night. Had a couple Amish buggies in front of me, and 3 vehicles passed me and the buggies at very high speed. And I caught them on video. Gotta be careful around these parts, especially at night. And up here crossing the Susquehanna on the Norman Wood Bridge. But who's Norman Wood? I couldn't tell you. Ancestors. A lot of them out today, sort of. On a different road now, and straddling a reservoir that helps feed a power plant at night. Or during the day, actually. At night, they refill the reservoir. During the day, they use the water to spin turbines. Like a dual purpose thing. Up here to the right are the intakes for the power plant. Somewhere down there. We'll turn here and go down to river level, and we'll see how everything connects together. That tunnel, by the way, passes beneath the Columbia Port Deposit Line. And then my lady's ancestors by the side of the road. Hey, I thought they did like being photographed. Unless they couldn't see my camera. Huh, I'm one up on them right now. I'm one up on the Amish. And there is the Columbia Port Deposit Line. Come on, a train now would be perfect. Give me a train. Never mind. Should I blow the horn? Yeah, there you go. I know you're all waiting for me to do that, so I won't keep you waiting. I didn't keep you waiting. Hot spot here, too. So what's happening? Look on top of those dumpsters. All those birds. Eagles, vultures. Hard to get them from this angle with the lighting. I'll try and explain the way this thing works again. Maybe I'll get it right this time. This is a plant used during peak periods during the day, which is of course a hydro plant, but they used stored water in the reservoir I showed you, as opposed to river water from the Susquehanna. During the day, that water in the reservoir spins the turbines, but at night the turbines are reversed and become pumps to refill that reservoir from the Susquehanna. The best I can explain it, but that's how this works. So those are turbines / pumps. There you go. During the day, they're turbines. At night, they're pumps. And those birds on those dumpsters are now gone. Now looking southeast down the Susquehanna. Those are islands in the river at this point. And some of those islands have structures on them, actually. That's what I was trying to say. I guess folks live on them, on some of them. But down there, when I can almost pick out a smidge of Peach Bottom Power Plant, I'll see if I can bring that smidge in any closer. There we go. That white building there in the distance, that's where we just were. If you hear a distant rumble, that's a plane, not a train. Sorry. Yep, she's still doing her thing. Alright, to the Frogmobile. And again, passing beneath the Columbian Port Deposit line. Come on, train! Never mind. You still with that horn? There we go. And again up here, the intakes for the power plant. Now on the left someplace. Well, out of sight from here, can't get them. But folks do fish here apparently. Apparently he was gambling last night. He lost his shirt. And the reservoir. It spins turbines by day, refilled by night. And the cool valley on the left. Just take a tumbling into it. And again, back on PA 372 eastbound. And again, let's see what lies ahead. And once again, arriving in Quarryville. As you recall, we were here earlier this year, 2017, exploring the Lancaster, Oxford, and Southern. Other lines as well. Right, I'll have one more fast look at what I showed you before. Better weather now than was earlier in the year. And one of the spots I showed you earlier this year on a cold and wet day. I believe this is a spot where a railroad track once passed through coming from Lancaster to the north. The line I've explained about before called the Lancaster and Reading narrow gauge, but never was narrow gauge. That was just a name. I have viewers give me more information on that or even contradict me on that, but I can show you old maps going back 100 years that do list it as the Lancaster and Reading narrow gauge railroad. LNRNG on the map it's listed as. So that's how I got my information. And of course above there is what was the former Conrail high grade line or low grade line. Choose your terminology. I've heard it referred to as both before. West to the left, east to the right. Originally built as Ackland and Susquehanna Railroad. In fact, this is the line that the B&O Railroad intended to connect onto in Maryland. This line was due to run south and pick up the right-of-way of the Lancaster, Oxford, and Southern as far as Childs, Maryland, to connect to the B&O, which would have given the B&O access to Quarryville and Lancaster. But of course, the mighty Penn would have none of that, and they bought this line to keep the B&O from using it, thus torpedoing B&O's plans for entry into southeastern PA. They got as far as Philly, though. They got that far, but never got to Lancaster. If, back in the day, you were considering going up against the mighty Pennsylvania Railroad, you got a different thing coming. You better be prepared for a big fight. That's come they got to be called the mighty Penn. Whatever they say goes. Whatever anybody else said, you fill in the blank. Lots of railroad history around here. But between the FYI signs that I see and my YouTube comments, I'm getting different stories on those lines. I don't know what to believe or who to believe. I figure the FYI signs are correct, but you never know. Up ahead there's a place we can have one more look at that high-grade line, or low-grade line. Choose your terminology. I've heard it called both. And again, my lady's ancestors. Can I safely get around? I'll take that as a yes. Bikers. And more ancestors. Oh, what a day. I'm not passing over that line, that high-grade line. I thought there was a place I could walk up to it, or down to it. Unless I'm in the wrong place. And again, this could be a road I have yet to see. I've used other parts of 896, but maybe not this part yet. I know it cuts across the corner of Maryland, the northeast corner of Maryland, only for about 50 feet, then crosses into Delaware, all without warning. Got a distant ridge there. Oh, nice house there. I'll take it. One more quick right to keep on the route. As mentioned, someplace this road cuts across the northeast corner of Maryland for about 50 feet. That part of the road I've been on before. Just trying to find it. I'm still on course, but don't know how far I have to go. And again, passing through an area that's very agrarian, apparently. And apparently arriving at a road I've used before, Route 10. Old Route 10 right there we're about to cross. The current route up there at the light. Yep, I've taken you up that way too on a couple of rides to the north. But we'll stay on this one. This part of 896, I believe I've used before. Well, a familiar number there. We saw it earlier though, so we'll go a different way. Here's the flashing light, original US 1. And north to the left to Philadelphia. I've been on this part of the road before, but it's been about 20 years, maybe longer. Now, Pedry crossed the Octavaro Secondary, which I've done videos before on. To the right goes to the Hearst plant, and it's used for shipping potato chips. That's a potato chip railroad now. Okay, what happens up here? 896, stay on that. I've been this way, but it's been a while. I wonder where the corner of Maryland is. Still looking for that. Only 50 feet of road through the corner of Maryland. Tricky to pick out. But I'll make the effort. The stuff that wasn't here last I passed. Or cop, flashing lights. I had to cut the camera so the cop didn't see it. It's okay to make a video of a cop, just not if you're behind the wheel. Yep, someplace up here. We're in Maryland for about 8 seconds. Still looking for it. So let's see where that might be. Now that the pavement just changed. Away Maryland? No, not quite yet. It should be up here someplace. But before Maryland, we're passing through this place. Up here the pavement changes. Could this be the corner of Maryland? Or maybe not yet. Are those Pennsylvania signs there I'm still seeing? Let's see here. Yep, this is it, the corner of Maryland. Instead of 50 feet, more like 500 yards, but whatever. And that was it. Now we left Maryland, and we're in Delaware. And you're about to see proof. I think. So there you go. Past the corner of Maryland, now we're in Delaware. And if I'm not mistaken, we'll soon be arriving in Newark, and we are. And again, CSX. And the University of Delaware. Yep, that's Joe Flacco's alma mater. For those who are interested in that information there, that trivia. I guess we'll do what we usually do when we're here. This. Heading for New York, Boston, and points north. One more. The Acela, this country's fastest train, for the time being. And distant sirens, they're making us feel at home. That's nice of them. Somewhere there in the center of town. Yep, a fun day in Newark. But now I gotta depart and make tracks for the big city. Pun intended. But up here, back in Maryland, now on Interstate 95, otherwise known as the John F. Kennedy Memorial Highway, because he opened it back in 1963. This road opened on November 2nd, 1963, when President Kennedy cut the cord and made it official. And a couple weeks later, he got assassinated. I opened the road just in time. Could have got around to opening the road before going to Dallas. If not, where would we be right now? Where would we be? The rest areas on this road are between the two lanes, between the northbound and southbound lanes. Because back in the 60s it didn't matter. Making left exits and left merges wasn't so hard back then. Now it's darn near impossible. But they still kept it that way. They remodeled it since, but still, getting back on the road after resting there requires a left merge, and if there's too much traffic on this road, it can be a real pain. And up here to the left is where that occurs. Not too bad merging now, but if you try merging during rush hour, I don't know how to follow that up. I don't know what to say. You'll be there for a while. Better not make plans for the night until you've merged. You gotta pay a toll to come north. Toll booth over there. After the truck gets out of the way, you'll see it. But now free going south. $8 going north, free going south. When this road first opened, they charged us $1 each way. I guess inflation. And brake lights. Just before the Susquehanna crossing. And one more way station that's almost never used. Like the ones on 70. My least favorite part of the whole thing, these slow ups. Hope it's only a slow up and not a backup. As we descend to our Susquehanna crossing. Flashing lights there, and apparently slowing up in both directions. Maybe an accident or something going on or whatever, and folks stop to gawk at it or something. In this day and age, there's still gawkers. Look at that traffic. Wow. Holy I-5, Batman. Get it? There you go. Sun over Susquehanna. And we're picking up speed. Good. One more look at the river. See if I can get you one. Best I can do from my vantage point. Up there is the Havre de Grace exit. As I always say, I wish folks at Havre de Grace to drive properly. He just now didn't. But again, brake lights. It was an okay drive so far, up until this point. Don't know what to make of it now. Apparently, this road is doing its I-5 imitation. They're doing a good job of it too. And still some brake lights as you approach the Aberdeen area. Home of Cal Ripken. In fact, up here is Ripken Stadium. I'll try and pick it out for you. It's right there. Best I can get from here. But up there is the ballpark that Cal built for the minor league Ironbirds. That's who plays there. I wonder if Cal owns that team. Still not doing full speed. But at least we're moving. About 22 more miles back to the hood. What if it'll all be like this? I-695. That's Baltimore's Beltway. We have to get as far as that. And that'll take us to the road. That'll take us back to our hood. Assuming we get there on a timely basis. Or at all. It'll be past Bel Air earlier. And the fast lane is at a full stop. Yep, the fast lane, quote unquote, came to a full stop. I mean, we didn't. Right now, this road is doing a great I-5 imitation. But it's Sunday. It's not a weekday. If it's like this on a Sunday, imagine on a weekday. Don't know what gives today. But we're about to pass another rest area. And this one also requires a left merge to re-enter the freeway, which will be a challenge right now, like any weekday, although today is Sunday. One thing different from the 60s, back then, at the rest area, there were no signs saying free Wi-Fi. Even my brother once said I should buy a laptop and go out in the woods and edit my videos, or something like that, when I go out on my Sundays or whatever day it is. I told him, oh no you don't. When I go out on Sundays, it's to free myself from those electronic devices, not to become a slave to them. Sunday's my day of freedom from those things. I'm not going to be chained to a device. Not this frog. Still creeping along here. But I still say that we should all have one day a week where we free ourselves from our devices, from those electronic things. At least one day a week, just break the chains and free ourselves from that stuff. You know, no laptops, or iPads, or smartphones, or Kindles. Just get away from that for a day, people. Alright. Get back to the basics of life. That's what I think today we're all missing, the basics. I keep a cell phone, well, I mean, that's about it. And it's not a smartphone either, it's a dumb phone, it's a stupid phone. That's all I need. You know, a stupid phone's good enough for me. Don't need a smartphone. I risk getting hacked or something. I don't need that. I'll keep my dumb phone. We've picked up some speed, but again, I'm about to slow down. I just love this I-5 preview. A little further down the road now, but almost up to full speed. It's now about 7:45. We left Newark about 7. And again, back in the White Marsh area, where I turned 1 year old. As I keep saying till I'm blue in the face, I'm a former white Martian. My problem is, the house was torn down where I turned 1 year old. In its place are a couple of dumpsters. Somebody dropping hints? Someone trying to tell me something? Nope, won't see any tunnels. Because you finally arrived at 695, which will take you to our part of town. Now ascending the grade, which is actually the boundary line between the Atlantic coastal plain and the Piedmont Plateau, the dividing line, also known as the fall line due to all the falls along it. Behind us, Atlantic coastal plain. Ahead of us, Piedmont Plateau. Now we're on the plateau officially. And once again, the sun sets on your bullfrog. Here's my exit. And here's the hood as the pizza delivery guy drives off. Oh, still some light in the sky there. Alright. Around 8 p.m. so I guess I'll get in and begin editing this thing. I hope I do a good job this time. And once again, thanking all of you for the privilege of your time. Thanks for sticking around and riding along.